Hello class, welcome to this video on the day one midterm review, part 3. So part 3 of this review consists of a Microsoft form in which we're doing an angle pair quiz or practice. So let's go ahead and get started with those questions. The first question is, in the diagram of movie theater seats, the incline of the floor F is parallel to the seats S. So these two lines are parallel. And what angle pair does angle 1 make with the angle represented by 3x? Now, it's also good to note here that these seats are parallel. And so these two lines are also parallel to each other. And so if we just focus on them for a second and then focus on this line, think of this red line as the transversal, then clearly let's focus on that. And I'll just focus on that diagram here. We have that, and then we have this transversal, right? We have here angle 1, and we have angle 3x. So now if we focus on just those lines, well, we can see that in between these two purple lines is the inside, and sort of like a sandwich, like the bread, the pieces of bread are these purple lines, and so everything on the inside is here. So that means 1 and 3x are on the outside, and so they're exterior. And notice that they're on the same side of the toothpick here, the red toothpick. I usually call it, the purple, the sandwich, the bread, and then the purple, the toothpick. And so they're on the same side of the transversal, and therefore they're same side. So same side exterior angles. Okay, so here these are referred to as same side exterior. Looking at the next question, it's the same diagram. This time they want us to find the, so we know that angle 1 is 60 degrees, and we want to find x. Well, using our diagram here, we know that they told us that this is 60 degrees, and so we want to figure out what this is, right? Well, we know that those are same side exterior angles, and notice that same side exterior angles, we don't really talk about same side exterior angles. The main ones that we talk about are alternate exterior, alternate interior, that kind of stuff. However, just note that this angle 1 and this one right here, which I'll call let's call it angle 2. So angle 1 and angle 2 are actually corresponding angles, and so angle 1 and angle 2 are both 60 degrees. And then 60 degrees and then this 3x right here, this 3x angle, those form a linear pair and they add up to 180. So I know that 3x plus 60 has to equal 180. So these actually are supplementary. So I can subtract 60 on both sides, and I get 3x is 120, and so I can divide by 3, so x is 40. Okay, so we got x here, and we'll go ahead and say x is equal to 40 degrees, or yeah, just 40. All right, next question. It says, in the diagram of movie theater seats, so same diagram here. Here they are asking for 5y minus 7. Okay, so looking at the same kind of thing here, we have our purple lines here. Actually, in this case, we're only concerned with these lines and this as my transversal. Okay, so if we look at that part. Now our pieces of bread are between these purple lines. The inside of the sandwich is between these purple lines. We got our red transversal, which I call the toothpick. And these two angles right here are on the inside of the sandwich, but they're alternate. They alternate sides, so they're alternate exterior. So these angles here are alternate, or interior rather. I said exterior. They're interior. They're inside the sandwich. Alternate exterior or interior angles. Okay, number 4, same diagram. This time they told us that angle 1 is 68, so what is y? So again, I'm going to emphasize the fact that this is the transversal. These are the parallel lines. And so if this is 68 degrees, then that means this is also equal to 68 degrees, which means that 5y minus 7 is equal to 68. So go ahead and solve that. Add 7 to both sides. 5y equals 75. Divide by 5 on both sides. So y is equal to 15. All right, next question. Ocean waves move in parallel lines towards the shore. The figure shows the path that a windsurfer takes across several waves. For this exercise, think of the windsurfer's wake as a line. Okay, so we're trying to, what angle pair does angle 1 make with the 70-degree angle? So we have these parallel lines, each cut by a transversal, by this transversal. And so if you notice angle 1 and 70 degrees are both on the exterior, and they're out, so they're outside the sandwich, but they're on the same side of the toothpick, okay? But we know that if they're exterior, alternate exterior angles are equal. So let's use that. So if this is 70, then this has to be 110, because 110 plus 70 is 180. Okay, and now we know that 110 and 1 have to be equal because they're alternate exterior angles. So this has to be 110. So angle 1 is equal to 110 degrees. All right, number 6. We're trying to figure out what angle pair does angle 2 make with the 70-degree angle. So let's focus on these two lines now. So this is inside the sandwich, you can tell between the two purple lines, and the 70 is outside. And notice that these two angles are actually the same angle. So this angle is the same thing as this angle. I can just literally move it and it's the same angle. And so those are called corresponding angles. All right, same diagram. This time it says here, we know that angle 1 is 2x plus 2y. So we'll just go ahead and write that. That's what this angle is. Angle 2 is 2x plus y. Okay, so we know that, well, first off, it says, well, we know that 70 is equal to angle 2 because those are corresponding angles, right? And so that's going to be my first equation. I'm going to say that 70 is equal to 2x plus y. Those two angles are equal because they are corresponding. I also know that 2x plus 2y and 70 are supplementary, so I know that they add up to 180 degrees because they're same side exterior angles. Okay, so I can use those two equations to my advantage if I'd like to. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. So we have 2x plus 2y plus 70 equals 180. And so now I'm going to go ahead and say, well, I know that I can move the 70 over to the other side, but let's do this real quick. I know that since 2x plus y is equal to 70, I can solve for 2x here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for 2x here, and I'm going to do that by subtracting y on both sides. Okay, so there's a reason why I'm going to do this. I'll show you next why. But if I solve this, I get 2x equals 70 minus y. And so now I know that I can plug this into 2x. Okay, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. This is going to be replaced with 70 minus y. Why do I do that? The reason I do that is because now I have this equation in terms of just y. So we have negative y plus 2y is positive y. So I get 70 plus y plus 70 equals 180. And now we can finally solve for y. Combine your like terms. Subtract 140, so y has to equal 40. All right, that one was a definitely a tougher problem to solve because it's essentially a systems of equations that you'd have to solve. Okay, so that's this problem here. All right, number 8. Use the diagram of a staircase railing. So they told you that AG is parallel to CJ and AD is parallel to FJ. So those are the ones that are parallel that they told us explicitly. Now they want us to find DCJ. So they want us to find this angle right here in black. Well, that's actually not very difficult to find because we know that this is 50 degrees because they told us in the problem, the diagram. And this angle and these two black angles that I just did are corresponding angles. And so this is also going to be 50 degrees. You can see that they're the same angle. So the measure of angle DCJ is 50 degrees. So using the same diagram, what is the value of N? Okay, well, we know this is 50. And so due to alternate exterior angles, we know that this is also 50 because they're alternate interior angles. They're on the inside. Okay, so we know those are 50. Now, we know that we said that this was 50 earlier. And because that's 50, we know this is 50 in the diagram. Remember, our goal is to find N, so let's see how we can find it. Now, we know that since this is 50, then we know that all of this is this blue and then the 50 have to add up to 180. So this blue is 130 because 130 plus 50 is 180. And this is a linear pair. They add up to 180. Okay, so we got this blue is 130, and we already got that this is 30. So let's go ahead and figure out what this angle is. I don't know what that angle is there. So if I want to find that angle, well, notice that I have a triangle here. So I can find this angle. I'll do it in red, because the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So 30 plus 82 plus that red angle, x, is 180. So the unknown angle has to be 68 degrees. So this red angle has to be 68. And so because that's 68, that means this has to be 68. Because those are alternate interior angles. And if this red is 68 and this black is 50, then that means this has to be 18. 50 plus 18 is 68. All right, so why are we finding this? Well, because now we know that this is 30. We can figure out what this is equal to because we know that this whole blue is equal to 130. So we got here 18 plus 30 plus unknown, I don't know what that angle is equal to 130. We know that those three parts of that, those three little mini angles have to add it to 130. And so we can figure out what this unknown is. So we got 48 plus x equals 130. Subtract 48 on both sides. And that gives us about 82 degrees. So that means this little chunk right here is 82. All right, so we got a lot of these angles. So let's see how they're going to help us out. So we know now that I'm going to go ahead and delete some of these lines so we can kind of summarize what we know. This is 50, this is 18. Let's see, that angle right there was 30. And this is 82. So we know now that this angle is 112 because 30 plus 82 is 112. And if that's 112, this is 112. Why? Because they're corresponding angles. They're the same exact angle. All right, so that's going to be 112, which means that this is equal to 112. I know that was a lot of different things that we did. But it's a good review because it reviews, the different types of angles to make sure you understand them. So 112 minus 7 is 105. Then we can divide by 3 on both sides. So n is equal to 35. Okay, so that was a big one because there was a lot going on. There were a lot of different things going on. All right, number 10, Washington Street is parallel to Lincoln Street. The Apex Company headquarters is located between the streets. Find an equation to represent W. Okay, so we know that these two lines are parallel, Washington Street, Lincoln Street. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little trick here to help me figure this out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line that is parallel to this purple line, okay? And the reason I'm going to do that is because that's going to help me figure out an expression for W, okay? If I do this, then note that this angle and this angle are alternate interior angles, and alternate interior angles are equal. They're congruent. And so I know that that part has to be Y. Similarly, I know that these are alternate interior angles as well. And so if that's equal to Z, then this is equal to Z. And now you can tell by the angle addition postulate, if I add Z and Y together, that gives me W. So that is my equation. W is equal to Y plus Z. There you go. And that's how you do it. Similarly, if I wanted to find X, well, if this is 37, then that means this is 37 by alternate interior angles. And if this is 51, well, this is 51. And so X is equal to 51 plus 37. All right, so I showed you that little trick for that previous problem. Let's go ahead and do a number 11. Find the measure of angle 3, or it says the measure of angle 3 is 120, so let's label that. Then what's the measure of angle 5? Well, these are alternate interior angles, so that means this has to be 120. So angle 5 is equal to 120. Pretty straightforward. So this is 120, this is 120. So now then what is angle 6? Well, angle 6, 3 and 6 are same side interior angles, and so they have to add up to 180. So angle 6 has to be 60 because 60 plus 120 is 180. So we got 120, 120, and 60 right here. So then what is angle 7? Well, angle 7, so angle 6 and angle 7 are a linear pair. They had to add up to 180. So that's 60, this is 120. So we got 120, 120, 60, 120. Find the measure of angle 11. So notice that angle 3 and angle 11 are corresponding angles. They are actually the same angle, so this is also going to be 120. I think on the Microsoft Forms quiz, I put the answer as 60, but that's incorrect. It should be 120. So on the quiz, just put 60, but just know that the real answer is 120. All right, so we know that angle 11 is 120. And so then how do I find angle 14? Well, these two angles are same side interior, so angle 14 and angle 11 has to add up to 180. So this is going to be 60. Okay, so now we know these two. So angle 14 and angle 15 are a linear pair, so this has to be 120 to add up to 180. Okay, so now a different type of problem. L and M are parallel, so these are parallel lines. Find the value of x. So notice that we have a transversal and we have two parallel lines. This is, so we know that this angle and let's see, this angle is on the inside, this angle is on the outside, right? So we know that this angle and this angle are alternate interior. And so if that's 139, this is 139. And then 139 and this top angle form a linear pair. They have to add up to 180 degrees. And so I know that if this is 139, then I know that this plus 139 have to equal 180. And there's my equation. So let's go ahead and solve that. 3x plus 147 is 180. We'll subtract the 147 on both sides, leaving us with 33. I know that 11 times 3 is 33, so x is equal to 11. And so now that I found x, in number 18, it says find the measure of angle A. They really meant to find the measure of angle BAC, by the way. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Instead of angle A, I'm interested in BAC, so this angle right here. And we already know that x is equal to 11, so we just got to plug it in. 3 times 11 plus 8. That's going to be 41 degrees. All right, now we want to figure out angle B. Well, we already know that x is 11, so 9 times 11 plus 7. So we said that this one was 41 degrees. 99 plus 7, that's going to be 106. All right, so we said this is 41, this is 106, and now they want to find not angle C. It says angle C there, but it should say angle BCA. We're trying to figure out this angle, BCA. So if I want to figure out that angle, remember that the angles have to add up to 180. So we got 41 plus 106 plus unknown, which I'll call x, is 180. So 41 plus 106 is 147. Subtract 147 on both sides, and you should get 33. So it's not x equal to 33, but you get what I mean. That's this angle right here, 33 degrees, because we already have x here. So I don't want you to confuse that with the x there. So that third angle is 33 degrees. That's it, guys. I hope you found this video useful and hope you learned something. I know that some of these questions are a little bit tricky because there's a lot of angles going on, which is why I wanted to offer it to you as practice. All right, guys, take care. Have a great rest of your day. And as usual, I'll see you in the next one.